All right, in this lecture, we will be programming the table view in the thread details view controller. If you go back to Xcode, you will remember that we created the table view here with two prototype cells, and we created the prototype cells code in two different files. Now we need to go to the thread details view controller, and we need to implement the UI table view. So let's go to the end of this file and let's extend this so that we get the UI table view delegates and data source. So extension, and that's a thread details view controller that will inherit from the UI table view delegate and the UI table view data source. There we go. So first, we need to create the table view or reference to the table view. So let's go ahead and do this at the top. And I'm going to add that right below the thread. So that would be at IB outlet week var UI table view. Let's give it a name, so table view. That's a UI table view type. There we go. Now, we need to connect this, so let's go ahead and do this. Go to the main, select the table view that we have inside of the thread details. There we go. Go to the connection tab and select the new referencing outlet for the table view. You can also drag and drop the data source as well, but we're going to do that also in the code, but still, it's always safer to do it here as well. All right, let's go back to the code. Now that we have the table view that's connected, the next step is to set this up in the view did load. Let's add the table view delegate, like I was saying. So table view dot delegate is equal to self. Then table view dot data source is equal to self too. All right. Let's register the nib files, the one that we created here, the text message cell and the image message cell. So table view dot register, and we need to register the nibs. So the first one is the UI nib with the nib name. There we go. The nib name would be text message cell and the bundle nil. All right. For string identifier, well, the identifier that I put earlier, which is the text message cell, right? It is the same name as the class. All right. So I'm going to copy and paste that to another line. And instead of text message cell, I'm going to create it to say image message cell. So just change that to image. And it's case sensitive, so make sure you have the correct casing. All right, cool. So now that we have those, we do have the load message. That's good. Let's work on the data source method. So go all the way down, and it's complaining that we don't have the protocol, of course, because we need to implement that here. So let's go ahead and do this. The first one is the number of rows. So that would be func table view. And let's work on the number of rows. This one, number of rows in section. And we're going to return thread.messages.count. So that's the number of rows per section. All right. Now let's work on the next one is the cell. Let's work on the cell at path. Oh, by the way, if this is null, then we put 0, so there will be no cells. The next one is the cell for row, so func table view, and there would be cell for row. I just saw it. This one, cell for row at index path, and let's get the message. That's message is equal to thread dot messages, and that's at the index path dot row. All right, so now if we have the message, let's get the image path. If let image path is equal to message dot image name. So if we do have an image name, then that means that the cell is an image. Let cell is equal to table view dot dq reusable cell with identifier 4. So the identifier is the image view cell. So image, it needs to be the exact same one. So make sure you have it too, okay, which is this one, image message cell. So that would be image message cell for index path. Well, the index path is obviously index path. And let's cast it as image message cell. All right, so we have the cast, we have it. The next step is to use that. If let image is equal to load image, so we're getting the image from the image path. Then if we have that, let's set it up. Cell dot message image view dot image is equal to the image that we just got. So we are setting the image. Okay, and let's add the action for the regenerate button. So cell dot regenerate button tapped, and that would be is equal to we need a reference to the self, so weak self, right? And in, let's write the code. And the code would be so to do handle the regeneration of the reply, right? The LLM, right? But we'll just print regenerate button tapped for image. Okay, and then let's create a method, or in a little bit we'll create this dot regenerate that we call the code, right? So save dot regenerate message and at index path. So we do not have that method yet, so that's to do, right? But we do that next. But before we do this, the next thing is that we want to, at this point, we return the cell. So we can say return cell. All right. And so that's if it's an image path. The next thing is that we're going to do is that else, if it's not an image path, then guess what? That's scenario when it's a text message. All right, let's quickly do that. That's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to copy and paste this because it's very similar. So, but instead of an image message, there will be a text message cell, and here same text message cell. There we go. And we'll do cell.message label.text is equal to message.text. So we're setting up the text, and then we need to set up the copy button, right? By the way, let's just comment this out for now because we need to create the method. And then here we do cell.copy button tapped. And whenever we have that is equal to same thing, weak self. So we're creating the action in. And here the action would be same thing, print. We just say copy button tapped for text. And here we need to do as well. So to do, we need to do something like self dot copy message text, the message dot text or empty. So we need to create this. Okay, we need also the return statement. So in the else, we return the cell. All right, I know that's a lot to take, so please take another look at it. And the next thing we need to do is create the copy message text code and the regenerate message code as well.